This copyrighted telecast of the Western Athletic Conference may not be retransmitted, reproduced, or rebroadcast without the express written consent of the WAC Digital Network.
Tonight, the Wolverines of Utah Valley are finally back at home. They're still battling for a good spot in the upcoming WAC tournament. Tonight, they're hosting Chicago State. That's right, it's the Cougars and the Wolverines coming up next, right here on UVU TV. Welcome to the confines of the UCCU Center. We're in Orem, Utah, just south of Salt Lake City, where tonight the Wolverines of Utah Valley, 4-6 in Western Athletic Conference play, host the Cougars of Chicago State, who come in here looking for their very first win on this season in WAC play, at least. Hello again, everybody. I'm Jim. He's Matt. These two have played before. Matt, UVU squeaked out a win that time, but now all of a sudden, adversity again. UVU down another player this week in practice. Darius Hamilton, broken bone in his foot. Will it ever end?
Yeah, I know the Wolverines can't catch a break this year. You know, it just means you're down a man, obviously. Darius, an inside presence. It opens the door for someone else. The Wolverines have to have someone else step up into his position, and what a critical point in the season to do so. Coming down the stretch, trying to position yourself for the tournament, and I've always said it about playing your best basketball. The Wolverines have just a handful of games left, and they need to get back on track.
4 regular season games remaining, counting this one tonight. Basically, they're just playing for a good seed in the WAC tournament, correct?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, you've got to be playing your best ball going into the tournament, because I think Coach Pope always referred to that as almost the third season, right? I mean, the third season is almost upon us, where that conference, all you need to do is play a couple good games, and you're setting yourself up for some more postseason play. So I think the Wolverines will be looking forward to that.
It was a 6-point win for the Wolverines last time these two met in Chicago back on January 23rd. Key players tonight for the Wolverines, Matt, if they're going to do it again.
Yeah, Jaden Jackson has been playing some really good basketball for the Wolverines. He's the leading scorer, just under 15 points a game. I think if he can carry more or continue to carry the load offensively as he's done, it'll be a good thing for the Wolverines. Connor Fry, we know what he's capable of doing inside and out. He's going to have to play probably extra minutes tonight with Darius out with his size. So these two players will be important for UVU.
Yeah, Wolverines going to have to shoot from outside because they're not going to have much inside. Meanwhile, key players for Chicago State.
Yeah, you've got Fred Sims Jr., who comes in as the leading scorer. He plays the guard position, averaging 10.5 points per game. So we'll see who the Wolverines match up against him, and if he can guide the Cougars to a good game. And then you have Trayvon Palmer, who plays the forward position. He's a force inside, just under 10 points as well. So I think as these two players go, the Chicago State goes, and so it'll be important for those guys to play a full 40 minutes if Chicago State's going to come away with a victory.
Yeah, these two usually play very tight games, and it just comes down to maybe 1 or 2 plays difference between who wins. So what are you looking at for keys to the game for victory for the Wolverines, at least?
They got to get off to a quick start. Their quick starts set the tone for the game. We've talked a little bit about this year as if they get off to a quick start, they have to play the full 40 minutes, but it'll be important for them to start fast tonight. pace. They've got to play at their tempo. They're at their home floor, so playing at their pace will be important. And then rebounding. You showed me the statistics the last game. Wolverines had 40 rebounds. Chicago State had 29. So if they can keep up that rebounding again like they did last game, it'll bode well for them.
Wolverines come in here having lost their last 2 games. Meanwhile, Chicago State, yikes, on a 14-game losing streak. One of those 2 is going to come to an end. We're going to step aside. When we get back, your starting lineups and your opening tip. It's all coming up next, right here on UVU TV.
When I was hired as the new coach at UVU, I knew that if we were going to win games, we'd have to have fans in the seats. I'm not much of a marketing guy, but I have some friends that know a thing or two about it.
All right, Coach. This is all about face-to-face interaction. That was actually pretty good. If this whole basketball thing doesn't work out, you should give me a call.
If you're looking to earn money this summer, stop by the Vantage marketing booth on the concourse during our games or visit choosevantage.com.
You're watching UVU TV.
Tonight, you've got the WAC's top 2 3-point shooting teams going head-to-head. 8.2 a game for UVU, 7.4 a game for Chicago State. We talked about it before the break, Matt. Maybe the Wolverines don't need to go inside if they can shoot outside and shoot lights out.
Yeah, that's usually what, in the games that they've played their best, that is really what's carried them as their shooting, because they haven't had throughout most of the season a really reliable and consistent inside presence. And so you're right. I mean, if they can carry the load from the perimeter, then more power to them, and that's what they're really good at.
You're seeing the starting lineups for Chicago State being introduced. Fred Sims, who did not play against UVU in that first game, he's their leading scorer at just under 11 points a game. He'll start at guard. Trayvon Palmer at guard. Joshua Batson at guard. Jordan Madrid Andrews at forward, a 6'8 junior. And then Davon Friend at forward, a 6'6 senior from Joliet. So they're not really starting a big man at center inside. First time they played, they did start Karan Davis, who's 6'10". He ended up with 9 points that night. Not tonight. Chicago State starting Sims, Palmer, Batson, Madrid, Andrews, and Friend. They're averaging just over 77 points a game, but they're giving up a whopping 77 points a game. Coached by Tracy Dildy in his 6th season at Chicago State. Here's the starting lineups for UVU. Well, we know them by heart by now. Marcel Davis, Jaden Jackson, Connor Fry, Ivory Young, and Andrew Bastion. Ivory Young, kind of a surprise to me because he turned his ankle so badly 7 minutes deep into the game on last Saturday at Bakersfield. It swole up. He could hardly hobble on and off the plane the next day to fly home. He's going to start. He told me before the game, he says, you know, I'm not 100%. I'd give it 75, maybe 80%, but he's a warrior. And of course, Bastion's had a bad bum knee the whole season. This is the most banged up team I've ever been associated with, and yet they're playing pretty decent basketball.
Yeah, they are. They're fighting through what adversity they've had. And you mentioned too, Andrew, with Darius's injury, he's going to have to play a lot of minutes tonight.
Marcel Davis, 6'2 senior from American Fork, 14 points a game, leading the team in assists at 4.8 a game. There's Jaden Jackson, leading the team in scoring at 14.7. He's a senior. He'll start at guard out of Salt Lake City. Connor Fry from Bonneville, Utah, starts at forward, 6'6 junior, averaging 14 points a game. They've got 3 players averaging just over 14 points a game. And then there's Ivory Young, averaging 8.7 a game. Best 3-point shooter on the team. Well, second best. Let's give him second best now at 37%. He's a 6'3 junior from Houston, Texas. And then there's Andrew Bastion rounding out the top starting 5. 6'9 junior from Tustin, California. Andrew leads the team in block shots at 1.5 a game. They're starting 2 seniors, 3 juniors. 18 straight games that this 5 has started for Utah Valley. UVU coached by Mark Pope in his first season here in Orem, Utah. 10-15 overall record for Coach Pope. UVU second in the conference in scoring at 76 points a game, but they too give up a lot of points. In fact, they're dead last in the WAC, giving up 79 points a game.
Yeah, I think that'll be a big theme tonight, Jim, is can they stop Chicago State? You know, the last two games, it's been a struggle defensively. They gave up 98 at New Mexico State. They gave up 91 against Bakersfield. So I don't think that the offense for Chicago State is as high-powered as those two teams that I just mentioned, but that might be a theme in tonight's game is can the Wolverines stop the Cougars on offense?
Well, 80 points seems to be the magic number for Utah Valley. If they score more than 80, they win. They're 10-1 this season. All 10 of their wins have come when they've scored more than 80. If their opponent scores more than 80, UVU's only won once. And I don't think we're going to see a slowdown game here.
I don't think so. A little bit different defense from the Wolverines here. You see Marcel at the point of it as they dump the ball inside. Almost like a 1-3 zone with with Ivory Young chasing. We'll see what they play next possession.
Wolverines first possession, and they turn this one over. Chicago State 2-on-2. First blood Chicago State. Fred Sims, we mentioned it. He didn't play in that first game. He's the leading scorer for Chicago State on the season, just under 11 points a game.
And look at the defense that Chicago State is playing as well. It's a zone, almost like a 1-1-3. You saw the trap forcing the turnover on the last possession, forces a long three here.
Marcel Davis misses from outside. Two teams very familiar with one another.
Yeah, see, you got a triangle defense with Connor, Marcel, and Andrew. Connor and Andrew are, you get a long jump shot there, but Connor and Andrew are playing the bottom part of the triangle zone with Marcel at the top, and it looks like Jaden and Ivory are chasing their men.
Connor Fry inside. They're going to wave off the basket, saying the foul was before the shot. So it remains 4-0 Chicago State. That foul goes against Davon Friend. Jackson for three. A little too hard on that one. Chicago State coming back the other way. UVU starts slow. 0 for 2. Chicago State 2 out of 3. I think UVU just happy to be home, to be honest with you. Last 3 games have been on the road. They didn't do so well.
They're going to give up 3-point shots like that last possession from Chicago State as you get Connor with a long three, Andrew working hard inside. But if the Wolverines stick to that triangle and 2 defense, Chicago State's going to have opportunities on the wings to knock down jump shots, and I think that's probably why the Wolverines have gone to it, is they think that Chicago State isn't going to knock down those shots and they'll let them take them.
That foul went against Trayvon Palmer, his first, team's second. Connor Fry tripped on his way into the lane, and now he's down, and let's hope he's okay. I think they're going to call it on Jordan Madrid Andrews.
See Connor trying to attack, get the ball. There's the gap in the zone. Looks like he took a knee to the thigh there.
3 fouls against Chicago State.
And look at their defense. It's almost like a 1-1-3, as I mentioned. Sometimes it looks like a 2-3. So both teams starting out in zone defenses, and those types of shots right there from Connor, the wing 3 will be open for both teams tonight.
Connor Fry, who has struggled from the floor in the last few games, gets the scoring going for Utah Valley tonight. Fred Sims missing. Putback attempt, no good from Madrid Andrews twice, and then UVU comes down, throws it away.
And you know what UVU's doing is they're chasing the 2 key players for Chicago State. You have Ivory Young and Jaden Jackson. You'll see Jaden match up on the wing here to start with Fred Sims, and then you also have Ivory that's chasing Trayvon Palmer on the other wing. So it's going to be a man-to-man against those two guys tonight.
So what you're saying is they probably listened to your pregame analysis as to who the key players were, and they're just going to shut those guys down.
Of course.
Andrew Basham picking up with a foul for the Wolverines. Team's first, his first. Fresh 30 on the shot clock. Chicago State doesn't need much of it. Fred Sims has 4 of Chicago State's 6 points. Chicago State basketball.
Well, I like that aggressiveness, though, from Andrew. Even though he turned the ball over, didn't get the shot off, the Wolverines have to have an interior offensive presence against a zone, and that was a good attack. Andrew just lost the basketball.
Whoa, there's a long 3 from Fred Sims Jr. He's just a freshman. 9-3. Cougars. Ivory Young. Wow.
Really nice skip pass there. Spread them out. Spread the zone out on the perimeter. Make one extra pass, and you're going to get a wide open shot. Ivory with a nice corner 3.
Played 3.5. Pretty low scoring game thus far. Sims misses inside, but then Davon Fred traveled.
Wolverines have given up 2 offensive rebounds. That's one thing that they're going to have to focus on if they play that triangle and 2 defense. Is it's going to be hard to rebound inside, matching up with Chicago State players crashing the offensive glass.
Ivory misses that 3. Rebound comes down to Batson. Chicago State looking to push their lead out a little more. They're 4 out of 9. UVU 2 out of 6 from the floor. Neither team lighting it up yet. Another miss outside, but they got it back. Batson will have another shot.
That's exactly what I was saying right there. If you're not, you're going to play against that zone. Chicago State done a really nice job of crashing. There's a lot of space inside to get offensive boards for both teams, as both teams are playing similar zone defenses.
Palmer misses from long range. Here come the Wolverines the other way. Jackson, Marcel Davis. And that time Palmer trailing behind him just crashed into Marcel, who tried to put on the brakes. Brings us to our first media timeout. Wolverines of Utah Valley down by 3 to Chicago State here in the early going.
Oh, you got one of those insurance apps too? You know how this thing works?
No, sorry. Not an app, it's my agent.
In this moment,
No, I'm fine, thanks.
it's good to know you have a trusted, independent auto owner's insurance agent who's there when you need them.
Great.
Man, I gotta get one of those.
Auto Owners Insurance. The no problem people.
Neil Dastrup Insurance, your local independent auto owners insurance agency, supports UVU athletics.
UVU comes out shooting just 33%. Chicago State just a tad better at 36. Told you these teams are pretty evenly matched, but that's almost embarrassingly bad to be evenly matched that badly. Thank goodness for Ivory Young hitting the 3.
Yeah, I mean, the Wolverines have turned the ball over 3 times, and Chicago State has turned that into 7 points. So a couple quick turnovers. Chicago State's done a nice job of converting that into points of their own. But you know, you talked about it before the game, Jim, that it's going to be about the shooting, about the perimeter, and who knows if both teams will play these zone defenses the entire game, but what we've seen so far is that, you know, all 6 of the Wolverine shots have been threes.
Jackson drives in and misses that one. Dayon Goodman, who checked into the game during that dead ball, kicks it outside, keeps it alive for the Wolverines. Davis on the drive. Marcel Davis, so smooth going to the hole.
Yeah, and that's what his game is. I mean, we know he can shoot it, but what really is good was when your point guard can break down the defense like that and get all the way to the rim. Excuse me, Coach Dildy in front of us yelling that it is man-to-man defense. The Wolverines out of the zone into man-to-man.
Hayden Skank into the game for UVU. First time we've seen him this evening. 4 seconds to shoot. Leaves as the shot clock expired.
That was really good defense from the Wolverines. Tough to stop a step-back jump shot from that far out. Nice finish from Eves.
Hayden Skank gives it up. Chicago State coming back the other way. 4th turnover for UVU. It'll still be Chicago State basketball. Here comes Karan Davis and Clemmy Owens into the game for Chicago State. Davis at 6'10", tallest player on the floor for either team. For UVU, Dayon Goodman at 6'7", really the tallest player on the floor. Played 6 minutes. Little slipping and slide. Wolverines on the break. Jackson for 3. Wolverines maintain possession anyway. Fry for 3. Hayden Skank with another rebound. Marcel for 3. Okay, 3 different players, 3 different threes, and missed them all.
That crash in the glass, so they had Chicago State on their heels. Chicago State never really able to get in position for the rebound, but 3 terrific looks for the Wolverines.
Come on, move!
Earlier, best 3-point shooting teams in the WAC as far as number per game. There's going to be an and 1. Basket will count. Foul's going to go against Dayon Goodman. His first, team's second.
This was a nice play from Clemmy Owens coming off of a screen on the wing. We'd seen a couple times they had kind of spaced it out once their players had come off the wings. They'd spaced it out beyond the 3-point line, but he just kept curling right down the lane, and a really nice finish and foul.
5 straight points from Chicago State. They lead it by 6. UVU has put up 9 3-pointers and made 2. Make it 10 3-pointers and made 2. Goodman there, trying to clean up, misses it. UVU has made 3 baskets out of 13 shots. It's 23%. Both teams have taken 13 shots apiece. UVU's made 3, Chicago State's made 6. Wow. Nice athletic move that time from Owens. 7 straight points. Connor Fry. He's going to throw it up off a hip. Instead kicks it outside to Davis and gets it back.
That's what the dribble penetration does. Now, I'd love to see more of that from the Wolverines when the 3-point shot is not falling for them. If Marcel or Jaden or Hayden, even Connor when he gets the ball, if they can put pressure on the defense by driving, you see what happens. Marcel just gets right into the teeth of the defense, and it's an easy kickoff for Connor.
Foul against Madrid Andrews, his second.
And that's a big foul for Madrid Andrews because he's played really well so far and getting into foul trouble, but he stays in the game.
That 3 won't go. Ivor Young lets that one go out of bounds.
I believe that time the Wolverines went back to that triangle and 2 defense, and that is the 3 that Chicago State will have if they cannot knock that down. Could be trouble for them, but that's exactly why the Wolverines went to it, is to give that shot.
Well, we talked about the Wolverines poor shooting from 3-point range. Goodman inside. Got a clean block up high, got him with the body. Chicago State not much better from 3-point range right now. They're just 1 out of 5. Davis picks up the foul, his first. 16 foul against Chicago State in the first almost 8 minutes of this game.
And Deon there did a really nice job of making himself big and available in the paint. I'm not sure from our angle. I saw Connor Fry cutting the baseline, and I'm not sure that pass wasn't intended for Connor, and Deon just saw it come right by him, grabbed it right out of the air. But nevertheless, he's right in the middle of the paint, making himself big, and he was open, as was Connor, cutting behind.
After Chicago State had run off 7 straight points, now it's 5 straight from UVU to pull within 3. Here comes, speaking of 3, another miss. They're now 1 of 6. UVU coming back the other way. Marcel Davis kicks outside. Good ball movement from UVU. Deon Goodman almost has it slapped away. Ivory Young for 3.
That's what the dribble penetration does. Nice job. I mean, there was terrific ball movement throughout that entire possession. You had multiple times Chicago State defenders, 2 guys going to 1, but Hayden dribbles, breaks down the defense with his penetration, and another easy skip pass.
That one won't go for Eves. UVU with a rebound. Marcel Davis, shooter's pass. It's 10 straight points for UVU in the last minute and 15 seconds.
Really good job of capitalizing. Multiple Chicago State players on the bench right in front of us. The defender went for the gamble, tried to get the steal on the wing, tried to get it, and the Wolverines made him pay.
Back in a minute. You're watching UVU TV.
People talk about college like you're in some kind of bubble. Like there's college and then there's the real world. Hey, this is UVU. You're not just reading about it or watching someone else do it. This is engaged learning. At the certificate, associate's, bachelor's, or master's level, you're in the real world every day.
It took the Wolverines a little while to warm up, but now all of a sudden 10 straight points has given them their first lead of the evening. Wolverines 3 of 11 shooting now from long range, man.
Yeah, and I think what's really helped their offense, not to beat a dead horse, is that dribble penetration. When they can get into the paint, it'll free up the wing players from open shots. It'll put pressure on the defense. But as the Wolverines haven't relied so much on the deep 3, they've pressured the drive. They've driven the basketball. That's done wonders for them. And not to mention their defense has been pretty good as well. As Marcel comes up with a steal, I think Plummy Owens signaling to the bench that that was his fault. I think he just lost control of the ball and it fell right into Marcel's hands.
Possession arrow goes in favor of the Wolverines of Utah Valley. Corey Cardwell on the floor right now for Utah Valley. First time we've seen the walk-on senior. UVU comes into this game with 10 healthy players, 4 of which are walk-ons. One of them just missed from the corner. It's Skink. Nice baseline drive and cut. Fred Sims stops that 10-0 run.
Yeah, Fred Sims was one of the players that's being guarded one-on-one. I think Corey got his head turned a little bit and got caught on the backdoor cut there.
Cardwell joins the parade of missed three-pointers. Wolverines have put up 13 of them already and made just 3. We'll keep harping on that, but this is a team that came in here 36% from three-point range on the season. Tonight, just 23% so far. Halfway through our first half, UVU comes up with a turnover. Ivory Young for 3.
Yeah, if there's one guy right now that Chicago State has to match up in transition, it's that guy, Ivory Young, on fire. Terrific job of recognizing with the skip pass where he is. Ivory's feeling it tonight.
Ivory had all sorts of family at the game at Chicago State. I think his family outnumbered Chicago State fans in the game. He had 14 points in that game. Off to a good start tonight. Ivory's got 9. He leads the scoring attack for UVU. Sims also with 9 for Chicago State. So much for having the best three-point shooting teams going head-to-head. Combined, they are 5 of 21. Corey Cardwell. That's what I just needed to jinx him a little early.
It's working now. Wolverines getting whatever they want on offense. They just be patient, work that ball around. They're unselfish. They're getting great looks from the perimeter.
The last 3.5 minutes, UVU has outscored Chicago State 16-2. Sims turns it over. UVU 3 on 4. Skank hesitates, puts it up and in. Skank's first 2 tonight. Seven seconds left on the shot clock. Chicago State setting up their offense. Sims misses the long one. Lead pass Cardwell. Easy layup. And Chicago State has seen enough. It's a 20-2 run. 20 straight points for the, 20-2 run for the Wolverines. Brings us to another media timeout. We'll take it with them. Wolverines leading by 10.
In this moment, it doesn't matter if you save money in 15 minutes. It doesn't matter if your neighbor has the same insurance that you do. What matters right now is the quality of your independent insurance agent.
Glad you're okay, Sarah. We'll take care of everything.
And the company that stands behind them.
Thanks so much for your help.
No problem.
Auto Owners Insurance.
Neil Dastrup Insurance, your local independent auto owners insurance agency, supports UVU athletics.
You're watching UVU TV.
Coach Mark Pope not going to let his Wolverines slow this pace down at all. We talked about the pace as a key to this game.
Well, it's really picked up for them as we see the replay of this pass ahead to Corey Cardwell for the layup. But yeah, the pace is definitely going in their favor right now. And I think the pace on both sides of the court is going into their favor. They've really slowed down Chicago State on offense. Whatever defense they've been running, Chicago State has gone cold from the field. But on offense, they're starting to find their rhythm and starting to find how they want to play. And that's what's caused this run that they've been on.
UVU's improved their shooting percentage up to 46% now. Hit a couple of threes, a couple more threes. They're now 5 out of 15.
Yeah, and the Wolverines with 10 made baskets, and 8 of those were assisted. So, you know, again, it's unselfish play. It's really good to see that the Wolverines are finding their open teammates.
Another 3 out front. Won't go. They're now 1 out of 9.
I'll be interested to see how long, get a foul there from Joshua Batson, but I'll be interested to see how long Chicago State stays in this zone defense.
Why?
Because the Wolverines are having their way, and normally, you know, when I think you see most teams play a zone defense is when you think the opponent can't shoot a 3, right? I think that's a lot of times when you play, or the philosophy is maybe you think you can't guard them man-to-man. But right now, the Wolverines, despite, you know, their percentage what it is, they've knocked down some really critical threes in the run that they've put on. But I think the Wolverine team can shoot, so a zone defense hurts Chicago State and works into the Wolverines' favor. And maybe just switch it up and see what a man-to-man defense will do.
Chicago State hasn't scored in almost 3.5 minutes. Working it inside, Karan Davis. He's fouled by UVU's Hayden Scant.
This is something we haven't seen much from the Cougars. If they can try and take advantage of the size that they may have, you know, Karan Davis has size inside, and he's a big body. Maybe to get an easier basket, they try and post him up or get the ball inside, because their perimeter game, meaning Chicago State's perimeter game, is not doing it tonight. 1 of 8 from 3.
Alex Carr checked in. Corey Cardwell took a seat for Utah Valley. Joined us late. We won't be seeing Darius Hamilton tonight or again in a Wolverine uniform. Broke a bone in his left foot on Tuesday. He'll have surgery tomorrow. Travel is the call against Chicago State.
Yeah, and Karan Davis got away with the travel just like that earlier. Good eye from the official there. I noticed one a little bit earlier. He shuffles his feet when he's looking to swing the ball.
Back to Darius, I talked to him before the game, and he's actually in pretty good spirits. He says, you know, my mom and dad are coming for senior night 2 weeks from Saturday when they host Grand Canyon, the last game here. He said, I think Mom's bringing some Texas barbecue. I get surgery, and they tell me I'm good to go in 6 weeks. So he has aspirations of playing beyond this year. Turnover, Wolverines. I've had some of his mom's barbecue, by the way.
Thanks for sharing with that.
It was awesome.
I haven't seen any of that.
You could make a road trip.
I do. That would help, right? Much needed basket there from Sims to break the scoring drought for the Cougars.
Jaden Jackson couldn't get it to go up, claiming he was hit. They're going to get that call. Chicago State basketball.
The Wolverines are really active, and not just this game, but all season, with pushing in transition. Off of a make, off of a miss, it doesn't really matter. You see how far Jaden was ahead of Chicago State. Well, even with Chicago State as they got the knockaway, but Wolverines love to push the ball.
Eves for Chicago State. Another freshman. They got some young talent on the Chicago State team.
Yeah, that's the strength of their team, is their perimeter players for sure. And I think, you know, Eves has done some nice things. This guy with the ball, Sims, has done some nice things. I think this is going to be how they win the game tonight, is if they get these guys the ball in the perimeter and give them space. You see a pick on the ball here to get him coming off of a screen. Just like that. That's exactly what they're going to have to do. Get these guys active in the game.
6 straight points for the Cougars. Connor Fry will take it in. Foul before the shot. Foul going to be against Trayvon Palmer, Chicago State. His 3rd.
You know what's also hard is we see the replay here. You know, you get space inside. Connor, nice job with a power dribble. squaring himself up. But when you play a zone, you have to cover a ton of ground as a defense, because you're obviously guarding an area. You're not guarding a man where you're running around. So you're guarding an area, and if that ball is moving, if players are driving, you have to really scramble. Remember, one thing that Coach Hunsaker used to always say to us is playing a zone is harder than playing a man, and having played both, I definitely feel that way, because you have so much ground and space that you have to make up with ball movement.
Connor Fry stops that little 6-0 spurt that Chicago State was on. Connor Fry with a quiet 7 points so far.
And this lineup for the Wolverines, small. That's exactly what I was going to say. It is a small lineup, but they may be doing it to match Chicago State, because Chicago State hasn't put their size in the game.
Well, 6'7" Deion Goodman checked out, and 6'2" Corey Carter came in.
This guy right here, Anthony Eves, I think will be a big factor. He wasn't one of our key players, but he's done some nice things. Terrific steal coming down from the perimeter. Marcel Davis leading the break here.
Connor Fry, a little turnaround and jump hook won't go down. Chicago State's Owens with the rebound. UVU's lead is 6, lead by as many as 11.
Really nice shot there from Montana Bird from the corner. That's what he does. He's taken 86 shots this year. 52 of them have been threes, and he's only a 23% shooter, but he knocked that one down.
Cardwell misses from 3. Cardwell, one of the better three-point shooters on this team, coming off the bench, shooting 43% on the season. Tonight, not so much. He's just 1 out of 3. These teams are taking turns, playing well, playing poorly.
Been a game of runs, hasn't it?
Really?
Clearly a game of runs for both teams.
And turnovers, 7 apiece. Under 3.5 to play here in the first half. UVU hanging on to a 3-point lead right now. Sims. Wolverines on the run again. Jackson blocked up high by Eves. Cougars back the other way. Sims again. Barely drew iron. Back and forth they go. Ivory for 3. My goodness. 2:48 left, first half. UVU by 3 points. Back in a minute here on UVU TV.
They say the devil is in the details. And in here, there are a lot of details. Flavor, color, texture, temperature, presentation. It all has to be flawless. Pressure? Maybe. But with engaged learning, I get a lot of practice. And I'll bet your homework never tasted this good.
Watching UVU TV.
Well, you see the UVU team, 10 healthy players now. Oh, actually not 10, 9 healthy players. I wouldn't say Bastion and Ivory Young are healthy at all. They're still able to play. Tonight is Veterans Appreciation Night. There you see one of our veterans who served overseas in service of his country. (30-27) the score. Ivory Young still limping. Got 9 points. Connor Fry was 7. 5 for Marcel Davis, 5 for Corey Cardwell, 2 each for Goodman, Skank. Surprisingly, Jaden Jackson scoreless in this first half.
He's looked a little off, a little timid at times. He just hasn't seen the ball go through to pick up his rhythm. He's got great looks, especially out in transition where he's been really active, just like this.
UVU trying to get a little too fancy, too fast.
I was thinking too, as we came out of the timeout, that has been the Achilles heel for the Wolverines. That's their 8th turnover of the game. Chicago State's turned that into 11 points, but especially turnovers like that in the backcourt, you got to at least give yourself an opportunity and bring the ball up into the front court. Same could be said for Chicago State.
They've got 8 turnovers. Skank drives into traffic.
It's going to be a charge.
And the new rule this year is anytime a charge is called, the basket will not count. So it remains 30-27. For Skank, his 2nd personal, team's 4th.
Yeah, that was a good call. Obviously, Montana Bird just came over and took that charge right on the chest. I believe that also counts as another turnover for the Wolverines, giving them 9.
Team averages just under 14 a game. Another miss from Chicago State. The battle for the rebound inside. It'll belong to Utah Valley.
Important minute and a half here, I think, for both teams. May not see, maybe 1 or 2 possessions here, but both teams need to, for the Wolverines, they get another turnover here.
Good gracious. On the drive, that time Owens hit the deck hard, claiming he was tripped from behind. Jackson turns it over. No, that won't go in the books as a turnover. Chicago State never really controlled that one. A minute left in this first half. 19 turnovers between the two teams. And 14 assists between the two teams. For those of you who like to keep track of that stuff at home, Marcel Davis almost gets the amazing shot to go down.
Dayon went up for the offensive rebound there. He knocked the ball out of bounds.
UVU hasn't scored in over 4 minutes.
Yeah, the game has turned ugly here in the last several minutes.
Chicago State's missed their last 6 shots.
Another turnover.
UVU's missed their last 6. 6 turnovers for UVU in the last 6 minutes. On and on it goes. Second half, we're liable to see Jekyll and Hyde. Both these teams are going to play so well in the second half.
Kind of how the season has gone, hasn't it?
It is.
It's just completely different from half to half. But see this defense from Chicago State. Look how spread out they are. They've done a much better job, when the Wolverines stretched out the game, of getting to the shooters around the perimeter. Their defense has been much better.
3-second difference, shot clock, game clock down. Goodman fouled with 7.1 left.
And I can't stress it enough. I mentioned how stretched the defense was, and that was an easy dribble drive for Marcel. If Chicago State's going to be that spread out, there is space all over the court for him to drive and take it all the way to the rim, or in that case, like he did, dump it off for a layup.
Dayon Goodman's got 3 points, all from the free throw line tonight. Alex Carr back in. See what Chicago State can do with the last few seconds on this clock. Ivory Young's going to foul him. That's what's going to happen.
I wonder if are they going to say that was before the shot? No, they're going to give him 2 shots. I don't know if they intentionally tried to foul Jim. I didn't see it was blocked out by the official because the Wolverines had fouls to give. But he gets Yeah, I don't know. I don't think it was an intentional foul, but he fouled on the shot for sure.
Eves misses the first of two. Chicago State's only taken 2 free throws in this first half. UVU's taken 9 and made 6. 2.7. Skank off the glass at the end of the first half, and that's how the teams will head to the locker room with UVU up by 3, 31-28. UVU this season, when they lead at halftime, they are 8-3 overall. Well, it was an interesting first half. I don't think we saw stellar basketball from either team. We'll talk more about that as soon as we get back from this break. Wolverines leading here in Orem over the Cougars at half.
People talk about college like you're in some kind of bubble. Like there's college and then there's the real world. Hey, this is UVU. You're not just reading about it or watching someone else do it. This is engaged learning. At the certificate, associate's, bachelor's, or master's level, you're in the real world every day.
In this moment, it doesn't matter if you save money in 15 minutes. It doesn't matter if your neighbor has the same insurance that you do. What matters right now is the quality of your independent insurance agent.
Glad you're okay, Sarah. We'll take care of everything.
And the company that stands behind them.
Thanks so much for your help.
No problem.
Auto Owners Insurance.
Neil Dastrup Insurance, your local independent auto owners insurance agency, supports UVU athletics.
You are watching UVU TV.
UVU leading Chicago State by 3 at halftime, 31-28, and it was, I said before the break, Matt, an interesting first half, if not stellar basketball. At least it was interesting to watch.
Yeah, we mentioned it maybe 3-4 minutes to go before the end of the half that it was definitely a first half of runs. Chicago State put a run on, the Wolverines put a run on, Chicago State put another run on, and we are where we are. So both teams have a lot of things, I think, to shore up in the second half, but yeah, you're exactly right. It was an interesting first half. We saw a lot of different things.
Yeah, here's some of the things we saw. In fact, it's not too hard to put together a highlight package because there wasn't a whole lot of them in the first half. You're about to see, I think, every shot that was made in the first half. Ivory Young knocking down the threes. Thank goodness for Ivory tonight. Hit 3 out of 5 from long range. UVU 5 out of 17 overall. And then turnovers.
Yeah, that's the theme for me so far is turnovers and the shooting percentages and points in the paint. Chicago State with 16 of their 28 points have been in the paint, which is I think what the Wolverines knew and were to expect, but it's just been a cold shooting night for both teams, and if we see the shooting percentages elevate in the second half, we're obviously going to see a lot better basketball. But I think both teams have to go into that locker room saying, guys, we're giving away the basketball way too easily, and if we take care of the basketball, obviously we'll give ourselves more opportunities. Another thing to look at are the key players. two key players, one for the Wolverines and one for Chicago State, haven't even scored. Jaden Jackson is 0 for 4 from the field, and you have Trayvon Palmer. He has only attempted one shot. He only attempted one shot in the first half. Neither of those two guys can score, so we'll see that as a trend in the second half. Which key player that we looked at to start the game has an impact on the game?
Here's some of those stats that Matt and I have been talking about. You folks can check them out at home. Anything jump out at you, Matthew?
Not really. I mean, it's so amazing when we do these games how it seems to be the statistics are so similar. You know, turnovers, rebounds, blocks, assists, steals. The percentages are a little different. Neither team has shot a lot of free throws. Chicago State's only attempted 3. The Wolverines have got 9. But, I don't think really anything from that. It's kind of what we saw and what we've been talking about the entire game. It shows, those statistics show why we have such a close game.
And the three-pointers, you see the percentage there, but that doesn't tell the true story. UVU, 5 out of 17. Yeah, it's 29%, but you missed 12 three-pointers. Meanwhile, Chicago State just 2 out of 12.
And the interesting thing is with the three-pointers, Jim, the three-pointers are what UVU wants to do. I think that the three-pointers are not what Chicago State wants to do. So we'll see how that meshes in the second half and if that trend continues.
UVU leads at halftime by 3. This is Utah Valley University. Used to be Utah Valley Technical School. Used to be a whole bunch of things. They're celebrating their 75th anniversary as an institution this year. And boy, they have come a long, long way doing some amazing things. Take a look.
In 1941, as the nation slowly recovered from the Great Depression and the shadow of war crept closer, a vocational school was born in the heart of Utah Valley. Housed originally in deserted Army barracks on the Utah County Fairgrounds, the institution was small and its numbers were few. But what transpired over the ensuing 75 years is, by many accounts, nothing short of miraculous, or how far we've come in such a relatively short period of time. Here you won't find sprawls of ivy and collegiate Gothic architecture that date back hundreds of years. What you will find, and have always been able to find, is a campus full of workhorses and doers. That's what our institution is predicated on. The foundation of what is today known as Utah Valley University was laid by many, too many to name or count, but none more so than by Wilson W. Sorensen. Originally hired as a purchasing agent and treasurer, he went on to become the institution's second president, a post he held for 37 years. Wilson devoted his life to the school, literally rolling up his sleeves to paint girders and lay ceramic tile himself. That attitude, shared by so many over the years, established a persistent can-do spirit and a legacy of grit, determination, and ingenuity that have been hallmarks of the institution ever since. He also had vision. We eventually outgrew the old barracks and made other stops in Provo before Wilson purchased 185 acres of farmland adjacent to a gravel pit across town in Orem. Likely seen as a gamble by some, this would prove to be a defining moment for the institution. Through the decades, whether in support of the war effort or the information age, UVU has always responded in kind with academic programs to match the region's ever-evolving workforce and economic development needs. One of the few constants over the years has been change. We're nothing if not nimble, able to turn on a dime and adapt whenever needed. You'd be hard-pressed to find another institution that has evolved from a hardy vocational school to a robust university in 75 years' time. We've grown in physical size and academic stature, but in some respects, the more things have changed, the more they've stayed the same. Foremost among them is our hands-on, experiential, engaged learning approach to education. You might say it's in our DNA. Whether alongside steel workers, computer programmers, or medical health professionals. No matter the discipline or level of study, our students have always had opportunities to learn by doing and to enter the workforce with both a diploma and a resume. Just as innate is a spirit of inclusivity that pervades our campus. Whether UTC or UVU, admission is, by design, open, and we have always had a place for, and means to help, anyone willing to put forth the effort. Today, UVU students can choose from master degrees and 60+ bachelor degrees, but we also continue to offer roughly the same number of associate degrees and dozens of certificate programs. It's an educational mission that is truly unique, one focused on providing the breadth, rigor, and advanced training of a first-rate teaching university, while retaining access to the trade and technical training of an open admissions institution where student success is at the heart of everything we do. From supplying the aircraft to flying it, from analog switches and knobs to leading-edge digital 3D printing, from oversized monochrome computers to the laptops, tablets, and smart devices of the current generation. Student success and community responsiveness drive it all. One of the differences today is the scale on which we're fulfilling this unique mission, unparalleled in the nation, according to several industry experts. With enrollment recently exceeding the 33,000 mark, UVU is now the largest university in the state and among the largest in the Western U.S. Another is that our reputation extends far beyond county borders. The state, region, nation, and even world are taking note of Utah Valley University as a growing force in the higher education landscape. Today, the acreage of farmland and gravel are now nearly fully developed and filled nearly to capacity, prompting President Matthew Holland, in his own self-described Wilson Sorensen moment, to secure an additional 225 acres to help absorb future growth. The land, ironically and appropriately enough, sits on the site of the old Geneva steel mill, where so many of our early students and graduates grew and worked professionally. In 2016, we honor and celebrate their legacy, and the legacy of every student, professor, staff member, administrator, alumnus, supporter, and friend ever associated with this university. It's a legacy that is now 75 years strong and that grows stronger with each passing semester. As President Holland has said, this university is hardwired to overcome seemingly insurmountable obstacles with pluck and ingenuity. It is in our genes. We've been doing it since our inception in 1941, and look where we are today. Give us another 75 years and watch what we accomplish.
You're watching UVU TV.
Getting ready to start the second half here in Orem, Utah. Utah Valley leading the Cougars of Chicago State 31-28. And we took a quick glance on the scoreboard. Rio Grande is beating Seattle by 10 with just 14 seconds to play, which is huge for UVU because Seattle was 2 games in front of UVU in the standings. But if Seattle loses and UVU goes on to win this game, just 1 game separates the two, and they play next week.
Yeah, that'd be a big game for both teams coming up. You know, you get so caught up in the day-to-day games and the motion, but you realize that there is a bigger picture, and every game now is vital and important for every team in the conference. You know, you've got Bakersfield and New Mexico State battling right now as well for the #1 seed, so it's exciting times, Jim. We're getting into that time of year where anything can happen, and it's fun to be a part of.
All the WAC teams have 3 games in the regular season left after tonight. That's a final. Seattle did lose, so UVU with a victory here can pull within 1 game, and that means a world of difference being seeded 3rd as opposed to being seeded 4th in the WAC conference tournament. Talk more about that later. And first possession, Chicago State picks up first foul in the first 6 seconds.
Illegal screen called against Yvonne Friend.
His second. Chicago State whistled for 9 fouls in the first half. UVU whistled for 5.
Wow. 2 quick whistles here. You got 3 seconds.
What in the world?
3 seconds called on Andrew Bastian there, which is a tendency when you're anchored inside and the ball's being passed around and moved around. So 2 quick turnovers for both teams.
Averaging a whistle every 8 seconds so far.
Let's hope that doesn't continue,
oh,
right?
Please, that would be horrible. Hey, there's another one.
Yeah, there's a foul. It's going to be a foul on Madrid Andrews. That's 3 on him, I believe, right?
It is. Palmer already had 3 in the first half. Now Madrid Andrews picks up his 3rd. Second team foul. Sims, by the way, leading scorer in this game for either team with 11 points for Chicago State. Only player in double figures. There's a 3 from the corner. Connor Fry buries it.
It's tough. It's hard to get out. You're a big guy on the perimeter getting down into the corner, and once again the ball not sticking. Terrific ball movement and rotation, and you get a travel here.
Trayvon Palmer did not like the call, neither did most of the Chicago State bench. Haven't even played a minute yet. We've had, what, 2 fouls, a 3, a travel, 3-second call. So much for the second half being
a little more normal.
Yeah. Ivory for 3. Bottom. Ivory Young, 4 out of 6 from long range. He's got 12 points. Deeper in the second half. Chicago State will take a 3. Wolverines on the run. Bastion and 1. Andrew Bastion, sore knee and all, gets fouled by Fred Sims.
Now, what a start. One of the keys that we said for the first half, or to start the game, was that the Wolverines had to get off to a quick start. They did in the first half, but this is an even better start to a half for the Wolverines in the second half. Chicago State just looks really lethargic coming out of halftime. Turnovers, missed shots, transition opportunities given up. They don't look like they're quite into the second half, but the Wolverines certainly are.
8 straight points for the Wolverines, stopped by Madrid Andrews. Marcel Davis misses from 3. Ball out front, tracked down by Chicago State. They will control. Sims takes it in off the glass. Jaden Jackson looking for his first points, still scoreless. Jaden Jackson had 20 Saturday against Bakersfield and did not hit a 3-pointer. I asked him, playing right home, I said, when's the last time you scored 20 or more points and didn't hit a 3? He said, I think junior high school. Floater in the lane won't go. Bastion pulls down the rebound. Reach-in foul is going to get called against Joshua Batson.
4 quick fouls here for Chicago State. Wolverines haven't committed any here in the second half.
Second foul against Batson. Played just shy of 3 minutes here in the second half. UVU's outscored them 8-4 to start this second half. And another foul in the corner.
They got a timeout. Yeah, I think Connor Fry got the timeout.
I could only see the official. I thought they were going to call a foul. first timeout of the second half. 39-32. So we'll stay here for this media timeout. UVU second half shooting 3 out of 5. Chicago State 2 out of 4. But of those 3 shots that UVU has made, 2 have been 3-pointers. Hence the 7-point lead for Utah Valley, who led by 3 at halftime.
Yeah, and Chicago State with those 3 turnovers. Offensive foul on one of them, but then just not taking care of the basketball, and the Wolverines have turned it into opportunities on their own. You know, the game has been pretty up-tempo, I think, for both teams at times. One of the stats that I'm looking at that really amazes me is both teams with only 2 fast break points. You know, we've seen the Wolverines push that ball. Chicago State has pushed the ball, but both teams only with 2 fast break points each.
That's astounding to me.
Yeah,
as fast as this pace has gone.
Absolutely. I mean, just watch the Wolverines. They're pushing the basketball, make or miss, and normally they would, you know, fall into more than just 2 points, but both teams have 2 points. So I think looking at the statistics as well, you've got both teams now with double digits in points off turnovers. So Chicago State has got 11 points off turnovers, and the Wolverines have got 12. So that's always a good sign when you turn the ball over and get points off of it.
Interesting thing Coach Mark Pope has done for tonight's game. He declared this was going to be an open media night. The locker room pre-game was open to any and all media who wanted to come in and listen and watch the team get prepared for the game. Halftime was open to all media, and post-game. And Coach Pope is wearing at least 2 microphones for local TV stations tonight.
Interesting.
Let's hope he's maintain a nice even keel.
Squeaky clean.
Squeaky clean, yeah. Well, his team is up by 7 right now, so he doesn't have too much to be angry about. Bastion gets fouled inside. Madrid Andrews picks up foul number 4.
Yeah, that's a big foul because he's going to have to come out of the game, and might not be the best perimeter defender, the best interior defender, but you know, he's provided a little bit on offense for him. So you're going to have Montana Bird check into the game. He's going to have to provide some offense here with Madrid Andrews going out of the game.
Montana Bird, 6'4", 225-pound sophomore. They list him at guard from right there in Chicago. Bastion makes the back end of 2. UVU 7 of 12 from the free throw line. They lead it by 8. Davis working against Bastion.
It was a really nice move there from Davis. Really just took his time. He went away from the defender as Connor came over, tried to knock the ball away. Really good defense from Andrews, straight up and down. He just went over him.
12 turnover for UVU. Sims makes him pay the other end. UVU's lead is down to 4. Led in that first half by as many as 11. Jaden Jackson, 5. Jaden Jackson's first points of the night come with just under 16 minutes to play in this game.
That's Marcel driving, splitting the defense. The defense has to suck in. Wide open shot from Jaden.
Leading scorer for the team this season at 14.7. Shot, I think they're going to count it.
Yeah,
Officials are looking at each other.
It went, and that was
Marcel.
Clearly a basket. That may be a big basket for Trayvon Palmer because he has not been able to get on track, but he certainly does here as gets to the free throw line.
Brings us to another media timeout. 15:39 to play in this one. UVU out in front, but not by much. Second half shooting, well, both teams shooting better in the second half. Chicago State 5 out of 7, UVU 4 out of 6, but UVU's hit 3 out of 4 from three-point range here in the second half. Increased their lead a little bit. And if Jaden Jackson gets hot from outside, get out of the way. Dayon Goodman back into the game for Utah Valley, all 6'7" of him.
The Wolverines haven't really been able to separate the game. I think they were up 11 or 12 at one point here already in the first 5 minutes. They just haven't been able to maintain that lead. Again, goes back to that game of runs that we've seen. Chicago State has fought their way back in. So luckily for UVU, as Chicago State picking up the full court pressure here, looking to trap in the backcourt.
Wolverines break that press and then turn it over. Coming back the other way. Bird couldn't get it to go. Now Wolverines coming back. Breakneck speed this one's going. Collision inside, and a block's going to get called on Chicago State. Marcel Davis was taking it in on the drive. He was fouled by Palmer.
Yeah, I think that's a good call. Palmer was set, but kind of the step that Marcel took to the right and then brought the ball across his body. Martin took that more on the shoulder than on the chest. Good call there.
Palmer's 4th foul.
Yeah, that's big.
6'5" junior from Milwaukee will take a seat with those four fouls. Join teammate Jordan Madrid Andrews, already on the bench with 4. Jaden for 3. Bottom. Well. Welcome back, Jaden Jackson. He's got 6. Wolverines by 7. Wolverines have hit 4 out of 5 here in the second half. 3-point range. Sims, who's got 15 points. He's pretty much done everything for Chicago State, and finally gets a little help from Karan Davis.
I said in the first half, I was surprised that Chicago State didn't try and get the ball inside a little bit more often, because that was a strong move, and the Wolverines are going to have trouble stopping and defending that from Karan Davis, because Dayon just doesn't have the size to match up with him. Andrews is going to have to be the guy in there to defend, but he's on the bench, so I wouldn't be surprised to see Chicago State pound that ball in more.
First foul against Connor Fry, second team foul this half. It's a 4-point Utah Valley lead. UVU hasn't trailed since it was 16-13.
Gonna get Jaden in the corner.
Connor Fry inside, misses point blank and stripped on the way up this time. Connor mad at himself for missing that easy shot inside. Adekoya picks up the foul for Chicago State.
Yeah, definitely a foul, raking across the arm there.
A walk on Connor Fry misses the front end of 2. UVU came into this game with, let's see, 10 healthy players. 4 of them walked onto the team this year. Connor Fry led the team in scoring most of the season until the last 2 or 3 games when Jaden Jackson supplanted him as the scoring leader. It's like 14.7 compared to 14 a game between Jackson and Connor Fry. That jumper outside from Adekoya.
Chicago State fighting here.
5 straight points from the Cougars. Skank misses outside. Fry commits the foul over the back. His second, team's 3rd this half. Corey Cardwell in, Aiden Skank out. Wolverines have played 9 players, 8 of them have scored. .45 left. Cardwell comes up with a steal. Checks into the game and steals the ball. Fry lays it up and in.
Nice play from Corey, anticipating the ball being reversed. Got a finger on it, created some points. Nice hustle there from Corey.
Long 2 is good.
You know, we haven't mentioned Clemmy Owens much, but he's second on the team in scoring at just under 10 points a game and got 7 points right now. He hasn't been much of a factor, but he usually is a high scorer on the team.
Jackson finding his way to the hole.
Yeah, Chicago State can't guard the corners when Jaden gets it in there or any of the other Wolverine players. They're going to have a hard time winning the game, I think, because they're just getting so stretched out in that zone defense. They're asking some of their big guys to get into the corner. It's just tough to do.
Jaden Jackson with 8 points, all of them here in the second half. 10-second shot clock. Won't matter. UVU comes away with the rebound. Corey for 3.
Yeah, so there's another corner shot. Just wide open in the corner, and Chicago State losing their focus, but really nice awareness from UVU on multiple possessions, getting the ball where it needs to be.
Chicago State had drawn to within 2 at 48-46, and then boom, 5 straight points from UVU. Back in a minute. You're watching UVU TV.
I don't think of myself as just an undergrad. Okay, so I'm a sophomore, but I'm at UVU where it's all about engaged learning. Leading a project on DNA research, I don't have to wait for grad school to get this kind of experience. As a UVU student, I guess you could say engaged learning is in my DNA.
You're watching UVU TV.
Back at the UCCU Center, Jimmy Mack along with Matt Peterson. You know, if I throw a couple stats out at you, Matt, you'll say, wow, Chicago State must be winning this game. They've outscored UVU in the paint 30-14.
Yeah.
And their bench has outscored UVU's bench 24-13. But yet, it's UVU with the lead.
It is. And a lot of that has to do with the three-pointers that the Wolverines have hit. They've made 10 of 24, Chicago State 2 of 14, and the Wolverines have a decided advantage at the free throw line. They've attempted 14 free throws. They've only made 7 of them, but Chicago State has only been to the line 5 times themselves. So statistically a little bit of an anomaly to see the stats that we do and the score that we do. But this is where Chicago State trying to work that ball into Karan Davis. Really nice defense there from Dayon.
Eves with the jumper up top. 5-point lead for UVU. Jackson for 3. Missed that one. Goodman keeps it alive. Taps out to Corey Cardwell and then gets fouled. Inside, basket will not count. He was fouled before he went up with it. Foul's going to go against DeLondre Dixon. His first, team's 8th of this half.
Yeah, Wolverines lucky there because that ball went right through Clemmy Owens' hands. You know, Wolverines at the free throw line have been for the last several minutes here, 1-1. Obviously, till they get to the double bonus here the rest of the game.
Dayon Goodman's got 4 points on 4 out of 5 free throws tonight. Has pulled down 3 rebounds. Connor Fry, meanwhile, closing in on a double-double. He's already got 12 points and 8 rebounds. Second free throw is also good from Dayon. Joined us late. UVU led at halftime by 3. It's 31-28.
The Cougars are trying to get that ball into Karan Davis, but whoever is trying to make the entry pass, whoever is defending is sagging back because they're not a three-point threat, so it almost makes it like a double team on Davis. Wow.
What a tip.
I'm not sure that was, I think he was just trying to get a finger on it.
Anthony Eves.
Yeah, get the ball back out, but right up and in. What a tip.
Marcel Davis, nice drive. Marcel with 7 points and 7 assists. His career high is 9 assists, that is. That ball out of the Cougars will belong to UVU. Coming up on 10.5 minutes left. Wolverines, hey, what's new? Another turnover. That's number 14 for them. Chicago State's turned over 13 times. Not a cleanly played game. And the pace has a lot to do with that, I think.
And those are just unforced turnovers because that was an easy pass to the baseline that just was not on target.
Whistle away from the basketball. This one's going to get called against Dayon Goodman of UVU. For Goodman, foul number 2. Team's 4th for this half. Bastion back into the game now for Dayon Goodman. Bastion has seen limited minutes this season. Only played 5 in the first half due to a pretty sore knee. Wolverines just looking for the open man. It's Cardwell. Skying for that rebound. Anthony Eves, all 6'2", freshman from Louisville, pulled that one down. Inside jump ball is going to be called. Held ball. Possession arrow UVU.
And pretty good defense there. I think that was Corey Cardwell with the D. You know, not giving up his ground. He got Fred Sims, you know, really out of control here. You see Corey moving his feet. Really nice job of not creating contact, and at the very last minute bringing his left hand down on the ball. Really good transition defense.
A couple of great defensive plays from Corey Cardwell. Here's a 3 from Jackson. Short. Jade Jackson, just 2 of 6 shooting from long range. 9.5 minutes left. Chicago State doing anything to look for a victory. I mentioned in our pregame show the bottom fell out on their season. There's a long 3 that might get a cooking from Clemmy Owens.
Yeah, he's sitting right now on his season average. He's hit some timely shots for Chicago State.
Marcel stripped. Turnover. Chicago State on the run the other way. Layup won't go, but the follow is there from Bird.
Yeah, nobody back in transition. Defense for the Wolverines. It's almost as if they expected a layup there. Chicago State had 3 guys down there.
5 straight points. Bastion has it knocked out of bounds out of his hands. Just a 2-point lead for Utah Valley. Fry and Ivory Young back in. Cardwell and Bastion to the bench. Skink Thought Skank was coming out, and he turns around and goes back out.
Yeah, I think Andrew Bashan got fouled there because there was a rotation over from Clemmy Owens. Looks like he got a lot more hand than ball on that possession.
Three-pointer is good. Jaden Jackson, 11 points, all in the second half.
Yeah, it's just a mystery, Jim, how he gets so wide open in the corner there. I mean, they know that he can shoot as you get a miss here, but so wide open in the corner. What the Wolverines will absolutely take it.
Connor Fry battling hard inside, going to be fouled that time by Montana Bird. His second, team's 9th of this half.
And those are just mental mistakes from the Cougars because you got to know that they're in the in the bonus. Connor was not a threat. He had his back to the basket at that point, and Connor's been a little bit off with his shot tonight and with his free throws.
He's 2 of 6 from the stripe. He's 4 of 9 from the floor. Still got 12 points and 9 rebounds. Under 8 to play. There's a 3 left side.
Wow.
Clemmy Owens cuts it to 2. Connor Fry inside.
Connor got away with a travel there, but he'll get free throws out of it, and the Wolverines will take that because they're not able to hit anything going right now from the three-point line.
Foul on Montana Bird, his 3rd. Talk more about the foul trouble Chicago State's in when we get back from this media timeout. UVU leading by just 2 points.
I had an idea. Lots of people have ideas. But engaged learning helped me develop my idea and make it real. And now with sales over $1 million, best assignment ever.
Watching UVU TV.
Seven and a half minutes to play. UVU clinging to a 2-point lead. This thing's a lot closer than a lot of UVU fans thought it was going to be. I mean, UVU won by 6 at Chicago State. It wasn't easy, but they did win by 6. But you know, when you're at home, you expect a better performance.
Well, let's go back to what we said. It has been a game of runs. Yep. You know, the Wolverines have stretched it out, but they haven't been able to maintain the runs that they've put on. And Chicago State, to their credit, have fought back into the game and created their own runs of offense here. So neither team right now has been able to hold the lead. Well, the Wolverines are the ones that have had the lead. Wolverines have not been able to hold the lead, but Chicago State fighting their way back in.
Now 2 shots every time Chicago State commits a foul. That was their 10th team foul.
And, you know, the player that has really stepped up for Chicago State in the last couple possessions has been Clemmy Owens. I mean, he has hit those 2 long threes. He's feeling it right now. The Wolverines have to be aware of where he is on the court. And they've switched. Marcel now guarding him mainly. Well, at least on this possession. So, change that a little bit.
Here's a 3 in the corner. UVU basketball. Jackson for 3. Jaden Jackson just 3 of 8 from long range tonight.
That shot to me, Jim, a little bit too early in the shot clock. I know he got a wide open look, maybe a little bit too far out, but I'd love to see the Wolverines work the clock a little bit more, try and get an easier shot or a better shot than that.
This particular edition of the Wolverines, because of such a depleted roster due to injuries, I'm not sure they're ever going to milk the clock.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, if you're open, you got to take the shot, evidently.
But there are times in the game, regardless of how you play, what your philosophy is, that you realize that you have an advantage in it. A long three like that might not be the best shot. It's great if it goes down, but if you miss, you've worked 5 seconds, 10 seconds off the clock, and you give the opponent the ball right back. You didn't have to work at all on defense, and they get another possession immediately.
Hayden Skank was called for his 3rd personal foul. First Wolverine with 3 or more. 6.5 minutes to play here at the UCCU Center. Davis backing in.
Yeah, going to get a double team. Marcel comes over with the double team.
Offensive foul. Wow.
I didn't see, I was blocked out by one of the players. What if we'll see a replay of that? The official made it seem like he extended his arm. Ron Davis has been very aggressive on the post, and I know Coach Pope, saw Coach Pope talking to the official about it. That time he gets called for the foul.
Davis is second. Fry in a little trouble, throws it away. 6 minutes left. UVU hang on to a 3-point lead.
Wow, what a spin move there. Trayvon Palmer back into the game with those 4 fouls. I think it's a risk that Coach Dildy has to take because he's one of their main players. He's got to be on the floor, and you see why with that move.
Connor Fry misses the 3. Chicago State can take the lead for the first time since it was 16-13. Not this possession. Connor Fry, first you don't succeed, drive again. Foul's going to go against Karan Davis. Davis will pick up 3rd personal.
And that was a big swing there because Palmer, as you see the replay here of Connor going in strong, Palmer made a really nice move on the offensive end, lost his balance, looked like he had, an open layup, but he missed it, and then the Wolverines turn around in transition and Connor goes to the line. Could be a big swing, but again, Connor is just off with his shot tonight. Can't make a free throw.
UVU's off on their free throws.
Yeah.
They've only hit half of them, 10 out of 20. This is terrible. This UVU team came in here 54th in the nation in free throw shooting at 73% on the season. Tonight, 10 out of 20. Make it 11 out of 21. Connor Fry gets a breather. Goes to the bench, 14 points, 9 rebounds. 1 rebound shy of double-double. Marcel Davis, 1 assist shy of tying a career-high 9. Most important stat, though, is UVU leading by just 2 points. 5 minutes left.
Wow, good defense there from Jaden. He got a hand up. Chicago State just making some timely shots. Jim, they are. They're making some absolutely timely shots, and they're not going away.
We're tied. 4:40 to play. Skank for 3. Hayden Skank's first 3-pointer tonight. Could not have come at a better time for UVU. Back out in front by 3. Chicago State really spreading it out here.
Yeah, they are. They're going to see what they do. 5 seconds on the clock.
They barely get a shot off. That did not hit the rim. Shot clock violation. 4 minutes, or excuse me, just under 4 minutes left. Wolverines clinging to a 3-point lead. Don't go away. Finish with this one up next here on UVU TV.
Well, you got one of those insurance apps too? You know how this thing works?
No, sorry. Not an app, it's my agent.
In this moment,
No, I'm fine, thanks.
it's good to know you have a trusted, independent auto owner's insurance agent who's there when you need them.
Great.
Man, I gotta get one of those.
Auto Owners Insurance, the no problem people.
Neil Dastrup Insurance, your local independent auto owners insurance agency, supports UVU athletics.
When I was hired as the new coach at UVU, I knew that if we were going to win games, we'd have to have fans in the seats. I'm not much of a marketing guy, but I have some friends that know a thing or two about it.
All right, Coach. This is all about face-to-face interaction. That was actually pretty good. If this whole basketball thing doesn't work out, you should give me a call.
If you're looking to earn money this summer, stop by the Vantage marketing booth on the concourse during our games or visit choosevantage.com.
You are watching UVU TV.
See the last play here from the Wolverines. Another dribble penetration and a skip pass, and what a timely shot for Hayden Skank with the corner three. But then back that up, Jim. Perhaps more importantly is they backed that made basket up with a shot clock violation, probably their best defensive possession of the night. So terrific two plays there on the offensive and defensive end.
Deion Goodman, Marcel Davis, Corey Caldwell, Jade Jackson, Hayden Skank. Your 5 Wolverines on the floor with just under 4 minutes left and a 3-point lead. Deion goes up for the slam, missed it. He was fouled. He'll shoot a couple. That foul against Karan Davis. For Davis, it's going to be foul number 4. Third Chicago State player with 4 fouls. He joins Madrid, Andrews, and Palmer. Deion Goodman. Thank goodness he can make a free throw.
Yeah, he's been the bright spot at the line for the Wolverines.
He's 6 of 7. All 6 of his points from the stripe. He's got half of UVU's free throws tonight. More than half now.
Yeah, he shot more free throws, Jim, than Chicago State has as a team the entire night. So
Chicago State 4 out of 5 from the free throw line. UVU 13 of 23. But Chicago State's been whistled for a lot more fouls.
Yeah, you know, coming down the stretch here, I was surprised that Fred Sims was on the bench for as long a time he was. They got him in at the end of timeout here, but you know, this is going to be Chicago State's best lineup from the perimeter because you've got Sims, you've got Eves, you've got this guy Clemmy Owens who's driving again. He's played fantastic, and that's why these guys are in the game, because they might not be the best three-point shooters, but they are dribble drivers.
UVU trying to survive here. Marcel Davis kicks out wide open. Corey Cardwell misses the 3, fights for his own rebound. Wolverines come up with it. Marcel for 3. UVU by 6. We're under 3 minutes left.
Yeah, can't keep trading baskets here, either team. The Wolverines, this is going to be a critical possession for Chicago State on offense. If the Wolverines can get a stop here, it'll be great shape for them. Wow.
Eves. So much for a stop.
And that's such a hard shot, because as a right-hand shooter, you're coming off, turning to your right shoulder, fading away. Wow, that was a tough shot, but a big shot.
Marcel for 3 again. Missed that one. Deion Goodman tips it way out front. Tracked down. Cardwell picks it up. Jade Jackson dishes off to Goodman. Now to Skank for 3. That won't go. 2 minutes left.
There's 25 seconds on the shot clock. You're up 3.
Yeah.
You know, the shot, the 3 is good, but you see what you do. You don't use clock. You give the ball right back to Chicago State. Now the Wolverines are under the pressure because they've got to score when they would have been better served holding that ball and using some time.
Cardwell, NBA 3. Nope. Chicago State knocks it out of bounds. It'll belong to UVU. UVU just one of their last 5 from the floor. Chicago State has hit 3 straight. Minute 36 to play. UVU by just a point.
Chicago State bench being told to sit down. You got to imagine their excitement, Jim. 0-16 on the road, and they're in this game. This means everything to them.
They've lost 14 straight games coming in here. Hayden Skank, a couple of timely baskets. A 3 and now a 2. A minute 20 to play and a timeout from Chicago State. Wow. Very competitive game here tonight. It's a WAC battle. Chicago State not expected to play that well. They've lost 14 in a row. They've lost 22 out of 23. They started the season pretty darn well, Chicago State. They won 3 of their first 4 games, then lost a couple close ones. Lost by 3 to Illinois, 3 to Jacksonville State, 2 to Alabama State. Then the bottom fell out. Started losing games by 20 points, 40 points. It's been bad for them. And they're just looking for a win anywhere, anyhow.
Yeah,
anyway.
Hayden Skank trying to ruin that hope. What a drive there. And a basket. He's had the 2 clutch baskets, as you said, that 3 and then that basket right there. Able to get around the defender and get all the way to the rim. Let's see what Chicago State is drawn up. They don't need to panic here. Plenty of time. I wonder if they'll try and get Karan Davis to come up and set a screen, get one of their guards coming off a pick on the ball.
They need a 3 to tie. Goodman had it for a second.
Wow. What? Look at the emotion in there. That's one of the smallest guys on the court going in there battling for the rebound.
Sims, 17 points.
Now watch this replay. Everybody battling inside. Marcel in there, Hayden in there, Dayon in there. But Sims in the right position, right spot underneath.
Marcel Davis called for the foul. His second free throw ties us up at 72 with 1:07 to play. Jackson, in and out. Chicago State with the rebound, a chance to take the lead.
Let's go, Wolverine!
Where do you think they go here, Jim? Clock's running down.
Inside. I guess. Eves starts to take it in. 5 seconds to shoot.
Gonna have to pull up 3.
Missed that one. Marcel Davis, your senior, pulls it down. UVU can play for the last shot. Shot clock is off. 72-72. UVU can win it, or we might end up going to a little overtime. Marcel takes his time getting this one to go. Takes it in. There it is. Shot at the buzzer. Whoa, was a lot closer than it should have been. Wow. Chicago State nearly won the game on that long 3. Chicago State has lost so many heartbreakers lately. They lost on a half-court shot. I think it was Seattle. At Seattle, the game was about to go into overtime, and Seattle hit a half-court shot at the buzzer to win that one. But UVU wins this one at home to improve to 11-15 on the season. 6-6 at home. More importantly, 5-6 in the Western Athletic Conference. We'll take a break. We'll talk more about those standings and about tonight's game when we get back.
People talk about life after college, entering the real world. But this is engaged learning. I'm not just reading about it or watching someone else do it. I'm learning by doing. I'm at UVU. I'm in the real world every day.
You are watching UVU TV.
Wow, what a game here at the UCCU Center. Marcel Davis wins it with a second to play inside, giving the Wolverines a 2-point victory over Chicago State. With that victory, Wolverines improved to 5-6 in conference standing. Here's that last play, Matt.
The dribble drive killed Chicago State all night, and it was there. That's what Chicago State did, was played that zone, and Marcel did that all night, Jim. He drove to the basket. I don't know if you've mentioned the stats, but for him, he had 12 points, 9 rebounds, and 8 assists. It was pretty close to a triple-double.
Yeah.
And it's because he was the one that was forcing the action all night. When he drove on that last play and multiple plays other times, the defense came in, sucked into him, and he was able to kick it, he was able to drive. And that last play was indicative of what has happened the entire night with him being the aggressor. How many times did he drive with his left hand right on that exact same angle? And credit him with an extremely difficult finish. This was a key basket too from Hayden Skank a few possessions earlier. But the Wolverines eked out a win here tonight that they desperately needed. Chicago State gave it what they had, but in the end, it was the Wolverines that came down to the final possession.
Yeah, and it even looked like to me Marcel might even been fouled on that play. They're probably not going to call that too many times, but if they would have, he's a 71% free throw shooter. He would have had 2. So a good no call, and Marcel wins it at the buzzer. Heck of a way for your senior to take care of business down the stretch there for UVU, who, as we mentioned, improves to 11-15. They now have won as many games this year as they did all of last year when they were at 11-19. Wolverines still have 3 games to play, Matt, and 2 of those are at home, beginning Saturday hosting Kansas City. Then they don't play again for another week after Saturday, when they will travel to Seattle, and then another week when they'll host Grand Canyon. So the Wolverines get plenty of rest, basically headed into that tournament down in Las Vegas.
Yeah, and they need it because obviously the season's long. They've got a lot of some injuries, as we've pointed out, but I like the resolve tonight. It was a game of runs, as we've mentioned multiple times. The Wolverines hang on there at the end and come away with the victory. I think they would have been sorely disappointed if they lost this game tonight, but we'll focus on the positive, and the outcome was a victory, and that's what they needed.
That's what counts. 74-72 final score. Utah Valley wins this one by 2. Our thanks to everybody here for making this broadcast possible. This is a telecast produced by students from the UVU Digital Media Department. It's been a copyrighted production of Utah Valley University and the Wolverines Sports Network. Matthew, always fun to work with you. Thanks. We'll see you again on Saturday on the radio. We'll have that call against Kansas City on the radio. That'll do it from here. Wolverines win it by 2. Thanks for being with us. For Matt Peterson, I'm Jim McCullough. So long from Orem, Utah.
This copyrighted telecast of the Western Athletic Conference may not be retransmitted, reproduced, or rebroadcast without the express written consent of the WAC Digital Network.